What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome back to the Hargests on Deck podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Brandon.
I'm Ashley.
And we're back.
We are.
And we are back because we were off last week.
We were.
I'm not just saying that because
Yes.
we always say that.
Yeah, we were gone.
We were.
Yeah.
What were we doing?
Well, we were traveling the world.
We were traveling.
Yeah.
Well,
Not the world, but
more of like the southern, eastern part of the country.
Yeah, we didn't actually leave the country.
But we did go to a lot of places, a lot of road trips in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
I think so far we're up to like 5 since.
Guys, we're crazy.
August.
We're crazy.
I know.
We're just traveling the world party people.
We do not normally do that. We're normally homebodies. We just stay at home usually, and it's very unusual. Multiple road trips that are multiple hours in length. I mean, 2 weeks ago, has it been 2 weeks since then now? Because it feels like it's all run together. 2 weeks ago, we were in Texas, and that was like a 17-hour drive on the way down. It took us 19 hours to get home, making stops on the way, visiting family, heading back.
We got to see a lot of family and friends on
Yes.
that trip. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that. We went to the Ark,
did.
the Ark
Finally,
Encounter.
We've been trying to get there for
I
a
know,
very
we
long
talked
time
about it
now.
for a lot.
We made it. We found the Ark. Found the boat. You
And
can't
it was
miss
amazing.
it, actually.
Yes.
It's quite large.
It was amazing. Yeah.
It was.
If you have the opportunity to go check it out. It's so cool. We've been to weddings in West Tennessee, East directions. And of course, Florida. Now we're going to Florida again
We are.
in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how the kids are doing fantastic in the car.
They have been the best travelers. And I think it's because they're just older now, and for one thing, they get so excited to go anywhere.
Yes, they
so
do.
they know that riding in the car on these long car rides, you got to do that to get to where you're going, and they're just excited to be going places, so they don't mind the long car ride.
Yeah.
And
hopefully it stays that way.
I don't know. They've been doing really well.
They have. I'm hoping they don't the last road trip of the year they start to change it. I hope not. But we are back with this podcast, and this podcast, if you haven't seen or heard it before, is really a podcast about anything. It's the two of us, married couple for many, many years, and we usually talk about a lot of things, including the past, nostalgia. We like to reflect back on our history, and we'll do more of that. But we did ask you guys and girls out there what you wanted to hear from us.
We want to give you what you
this
want.
podcast.
So we asked.
Yes, and there was pretty much one big thing.
It was you guys made it
very
clear to us what
you
want.
wanted to hear.
So we're gonna give it to you.
Yes.
Yeah, we are right now.
What was it?
Well, by a long shot.
Yeah.
Is that
it was
how
a
we say it?
landslide.
A landslide. You guys want to hear more about Jump5?
Absolutely.
Not surprised.
Not surprised at all.
topic.
Yes, that is a big part of my past. I was in a band called Jump5. For those who don't know, if you're here watching the video, you probably did know that because...
Unless you just stumbled upon us.
And you're like,
who are
what's
these
Jump5?
people?
Yeah, you clicked
What
on the
are they
headline.
talking about?
I keep saying headline. You clicked on the title.
Headline, that sounds like we're on the news or something.
I know. I don't know. I'm getting to be old. You clicked on the thumbnail and you saw what we're talking about today. We're talking all about Jump5. And we're going to do a few of these.
This is just the beginning.
This is the beginning. Yeah. We did ask you guys, you want to hear more Jump5 content, and we decided to start with a Q&A because you all sent in tons of questions, which is so awesome. And continue to send questions because we want to hear what you want to hear about. So we're going to talk about this. In this video is question answer. Part one. Because we've got so many that we're going to have to do multiple videos because you guys want to know a lot of stuff. So, which is great. We love that. If you don't hear a question that you asked, no worries. We're probably going to have that question or others in the future. So we're going to do a string of these videos, a series, if you will, of multiple Jump5 themed things. Yes. And we'll probably have some special guests or so.
Special guests?
Yeah.
What?
Ooh, maybe.
What?
We'll find out.
This is where you got to come to get the Jump5 content.
That's right.
So invite your friends. We're having a party here. We're having a Jump5 party. And
make sure you share it. Share these videos with people. One thing we did on Instagram, which we're over there at Hargests on Deck, if you haven't already been a follower, if you haven't followed us there, is that how you do? You follow on Instagram? I'm an old guy.
Yeah, you follow. Yep.
We posted a reel that we posted last year recently, and you guys
Many of you have come from that reel.
Yes, I know. It's awesome. You guys have been sharing it. It was a reel that we did where back when we did our 20th anniversary documentary special, we all got together, the 5 of us, and we recreated some of our first album covers. Yeah, that's what we did. It was fun. Check it out. Anyway, I think you guys are ready for this. We're going to jump straight into the questions, and I think Ashley has them here. One thing that to mention, a lot of you asked very similar questions, so we're kind of grouping some together.
Yes.
So,
all right, ladies and gents. First question, author KM Higgins, Lux Latte. They are wondering how were songs chosen for each record? And were you guys involved in those decisions? And Candace Rocks 90 wants to know, how was the vocal arrangement for a song decided? And who sang what part?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great questions.
So yes, we were definitely involved in the song choosing process. That's actually one of the big things that we wanted to make sure that we were, or the record label wanted to make sure that we were part of, because you don't want to have a bunch of kids singing songs they don't care about, songs that mean nothing to them. So I remember each record that we did, we had multiple listening parties because we had songs from all kinds of different songwriters. They basically sat us down and had song after song for song that they played for us and our parents. And we just got to enjoy all these different submissions, and we wrote down and kind of graded what we thought each song was, so we can kind of make a list. And we had multiple sessions, so it wasn't just like, cool, here's 10 songs, you like them, great, that's what it's going to be. This process took a little bit of time, and there were a lot of songs that we really loved that ended up being in the record. There were songs that we loved that didn't make the record, that we didn't end up recording because of some reason. In fact, I remember before we moved about a year ago, and when we were going through all of the stuff, packing things up, I was going through a lot of old CDs. We had a lot of ripped, burned CDs for these song sessions because back then, this was the early 2000s. You didn't have streaming services. The iPhone wasn't out yet. In fact, the iPhone didn't come out until the last year of Jump5, which is kind of crazy to think how old this is. And so CDs were the main way of listening to this. And I had stacks and stacks of these CDs, no cases, no nothing, just loose CDs in cabinets and stuff. And when we were packing up, I didn't want to bring all of these things. And so I thought, I've got technology. Let's rip all these things to a computer, a hard drive, so I still have them and get rid of the clutter. And I found some amazing finds. Songs that we never recorded, that we liked, but also original demos of some of these songs that we did record. I'm talking about songs like Beautiful World. Wow. Beautiful World, Wonderful. Obviously, like the big ones, Spin Around. All of these songs I found, and some of them are almost unrecognizable because the way that the production went on it, the song was produced a different way. It changed a lot of it. But yeah, these songs were here. The songs that we heard when we first heard them, the songs we heard the very first time we heard them. And yeah, it was so cool to see that. But yeah, the whole process was a lot of fun. We did pick pick these songs. Later albums, in particular the third album, Accelerate, I got to write one of the songs on that album. It was called, actually, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know what song that was? Do you know what song I wrote on Accelerate? Ooh, this is going to look bad.
Can you give me a list of the songs?
Oh, I actually don't know if I could do that. I probably could if I really thought hard about it, but I'll give you a hint. It's 4 words. It's okay. You don't have to know.
Love.
That's 1 word. I said 4 words. Wow.
I heard
not listening here.
4 letters. That's what I thought you meant.
All right.
Words.
It was called All Because of You.
Oh.
Did you know that? You didn't know that. She didn't know.
No,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's coming back to me.
It's coming back. Well, it was a long time ago.
Did you write that with Brad?
I did write that with Brad.
Yes, yeah, I do
Yes.
remember. Okay.
So I got to write a song on that, and that was really fun. I remember back when we were choosing them, because not only were choosing what songs to sing, we also were choosing different things, who's going to sing what parts, and what song was going to be the title track of the CD, what was going to be the singles, all those things. And I remember when we were choosing for that one, I threw my hat in the ring because we were listening, and mine was in the list of songs there, and it was very nerve-wracking because it's like, I hope everybody else likes it, because it wasn't like, oh yeah, Brandon wrote a song, we're gonna do it. We had to make sure it met the standards of everything, and thankfully the record label liked it, and the rest of our group liked it, I hope. Hopefully they did. And I remember at one point, our manager, we were trying to figure out the name of the CD, and we went with Accelerate. But at one point, we had a couple people pushing for All Because of You as the title track of that album, and I was excited about that. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. But we went with Accelerate instead.
I like that album.
Thank you. I like it too. I like a lot of them.
I didn't know that about the process of choosing songs and all of that. I don't think
we had some other artists submit songs as well, which is really cool. But Michelle Toombs wrote a lot of our songs, which is cool. But we had songs, and it's funny too because the different albums, because we had 5 studio albums, and we had Christmas albums and remix CDs and best of CDs and stuff like that. But of the main studio albums that we had, you would have similar or the same songwriters for each CD. So we had a couple of songs, I think. Oh gosh, I'm gonna mess this up, but I don't want to do that. But we had some songs where we had, what were their names? Mark and Zark, I think. They had it was a songwriting duo overseas. I can't remember where, but they wrote a song that we loved on one of the albums, and they for the next album came back with another song, and we loved that one too. I think it was Mind Your Head was on the Dreamin' in Color album, and I can't remember what it was on the album before that. And I shouldn't have brought that story up unless I had these details. I'm sure someone's going to go, oh, I know that. My family certainly is. They're going to tell me later. But it was really cool because it's like, oh yeah, those guys, Mark and Zark. So anyway, a lot of fun things like that. But we had a great time. To answer the second part of that question, the song parts, who determined that? We worked with Mark Hammond, which we've talked about multiple times in previous podcasts. He was our producer. He was fantastic at this. He was able to see these songs and determine, hey, I see Brittany singing this part. I see Libby here, and Leslie, I hear you coming in with this part here, and he did a great job of designing these songs in a way where it showcased the best vocals for the songs. And it was really cool because we were a bunch of kids that really enjoyed what we did, and yes, we all wanted to be able to sing everything, but it was a great dynamic where everybody had a unique voice and it fit certain things. If it didn't work, we tried it multiple times. We tried something else and we fit people in where they needed to be, and it worked out. We never really had too many discrepancies when it came to, oh no, I want to sing that part. No, it's me. No, it all worked what was best for the song. So, but that's a long answer to a question there. So does that answer that?
That answers that.
Thank you all for that
for sure.
submission.
Yeah. Next question. It's from Mark Muffins.
Mark Muffins.
What up, Mark Muffins?
I know who that is.
I know who that is.
Hey,
Mark Muffins is coming to spend Thanksgiving with us.
Yes, he is.
We're very excited.
We chose his question because it's actually a good question. So.
Yes, it is.
It was a joke, but he was being serious.
Is it difficult to go from doing arena concerts to having a more normal life now?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
We did do a lot of amazing things in the entire span of Jump5. I mean, like you said, like Mark said, arena concerts sold out, all these different stadiums and arenas and part of different tours. It was really amazing. We also got to do some really awesome things with music videos and performing at the White House and festivals. Really crazy things.
Yeah, and now you just have to massage your wife's arthritic feet.
No, that's
which do you prefer?
I would not trade what I'm doing, the life that I have now with my family for anything. But we had a lot of great times back then. I do look back fondly with memories.
It probably is. It probably feels like another life.
It does. And it was so long ago too that it does feel like, was that really me? Like, I don't, it's some of these stories too, trying to remember some of these things. I had to text my family and be like, hey, someone remind me again, what were some of the things that we got to do? Because it was so long ago, and we were kids too. We got to experience these things. But to answer the question, transitioning from that into a regular life, a regular job, I remember the transition right after our farewell tour. I was actually doing road managing for a group called Pure Energy, and I think I've talked about this before, but they were a group that was very similar to what we did with Jump5, managed by the same group of people, but it was a different record label. And I was actually on the other side. I was road managing, doing day-to-day stuff, doing the sound on their live shows and helping with that. And it was super cool to get to experience the same business, but from the other side. And after that, started working for Derek, who used to be our manager, started doing some radio promotion, artist booking for him. So I was still in the music business. And it was really fun doing that. But not long after all that, that's when I started working for your dad. Of course, I met you years before that, but that's when I started, trying to figure out how to, start a life with you, and started working for your dad. And I used to joke about this, but your dad has a service business, does all kinds of different things. But one of the things he does or has is cleaning bathrooms. And I used to be a part of that on both the sales and the actual work side, and doing what I could to earn money and to also be able to provide for my family. So, and I was cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
And so it was funny going from performing in front of hundreds of thousands of people to cleaning toilets. Very humbling experience. So, wow. But again, all of that, wouldn't trade it for the world. I was so happy that God put us on that path and that we got to experience that at an early age. And now here we are, 11 years later, happily married with 3 wonderful boys, and it's been great. But I do miss the creative world, to kind of put that there. That's why we do these podcasts. That's why we do our YouTube videos. We do want to be out doing things that are more creative again, because I miss that. Looking back at all of the memories, it was fun. We got to really enjoy that, and who knows? Maybe one day we'll get to do that again. So,
all right. Next question is from Anna Shift. And the question is, were your parents with you during tours?
That's a very good question. No, they were all just back home chilling, and all of us young kids were out hitting up the town. No, I'm kidding, of course. Yes, we did have a parent chaperone with us on every show and event and so on. And that was actually something, because we couldn't have all the parents go all the time because they had jobs as well, or they had other things going on. And plus, it would be very expensive to have that crazy amount of an entourage. So what we ended up doing was a system where there was one parent chaperone that went on every show, and it switched out. So it was a rotating thing where my mom went one time, then Chris's mom, Leslie's mom, and so on, and Libby's mom, of course. And so they all rotated, and it was a lot of fun to get to go on these trips and hang out with each mom. It was a lot of fun. But the big trips.
Who was the funnest one? Is that it?
Oh, see, everyone was fun. Everyone was fun in their own way. No,
okay.
It was everyone was fun. We enjoyed that.
Okay.
I will say, whenever it was, so Chris, because my mom, because Brittany, my sister, was in the group as well, and so whenever my mom was a chaperone, she always just was in the girls' room, because there was a guys' room and a girls' room at the hotel always, and so it was just Chris and I in the guys' room, and then the girls were in the other room. And since there were 3 of them, plus usually one of the moms, they all had to share beds. And except for Kristen's mom, she hung out in the guys' room on those trips. But most of the time, 75% of the time, we didn't have, the guys had their rooms themselves, which was fun. I mean, was not really much going on. But it was, as a kid, I know my kids are always like wanting to feel older than they are, and they want to have their own bed. And because we've been to many hotels recently, it was just fun to experience that. But with that said, all the bigger trips, the ones that were a music video or going to the White House, for example, or something else along those lines, the parents did divvy those up. So we did have, they got to pick which ones they wanted to go to, we made it fair so everybody got to experience something fun. But yeah, it was a lot of, it was great to get to have that experience with them. And then on top of that too, not just the parents, but we were still in school early on. And we had a tutor go on the road with us because we needed to be in school. If we're going and performing, because we were on tour all the time, you couldn't do that in some places, including, I think we've talked about this in the past before, but Beauty and the Beast, we shot that music video in California, and California has child labor laws. You can't be doing certain things if you are under a certain age. I think it was 16, and you can only work for so long. And so we had to abide by those rules, and we had a tutor on the road with us on that specific music video. We had a social worker had to come on set and do things that were educational, so that way we could kind of slide by on some of those things. And actually, I was talking to Brittany about this the other day. She was the youngest, and so her hours were even less than the rest of us. And we had to shoot towards the end of the night. We had to get all these individual shots done, and we had to get hers done first because at 10 o'clock or whatever time it was, she had to be done. They had legally she could not be on set any longer. And then we ended up, because Chris was the oldest, I think it was his 16th birthday when we shot that music video. He actually was the last one to shoot because he could be out there an extra hour than the rest of us. But the social worker, it was funny. She had to come and help us, do these. I got to do puzzles while we were waiting because it was educational. Brittany said that she was
Were they like
forced.
advanced puzzles or little kiddie puzzles?
They were puzzles, not like, jigsaw puzzles. It was, those car sliding puzzles where like all the cars.
Oh, yeah, we used to have that.
Yeah, they were
up.
all like, it's like a parking lot, it's like a grid, and certain things can only go forward and back, and you had to
Rush hour.
Is that what it's called?
I think.
Probably.
I don't know.
You probably know. I don't remember. But I had to do those. I remember those because those were fun. Brittany had to do some kind of like Barbie thing. I don't know. But that was what the social worker brought and was like, this is what we got to do.
Is that educational?
It must have been.
Like
I don't know.
Spelling with Barbie.
Something like that. And she was way too old for that kind of stuff. But that was what they brought, and you had to do this because it's the law. So it's like, okay. But yeah, so that was more, that's more, I'm offering more than the question.
We always
I hope
like
that's
more.
okay.
We always like more.
And shift, if that's how you say it. Sorry, again, little disclaimer, we're reading these usernames, so if we say them wrong.
Oh, I'm sure I'm butchering
we
them all.
apologize.
It's not you, it's me. So, all right, the next question. Many of you asked a very similar question. So Marilyn Funk, Dulcie Jane Hargest, Coffee Cats and Counseling, and Candace Rocks 90 all want to know, how was your time with Aaron Carter on tour? How did all of that go?
Yes. And that is, for those who hadn't heard, Aaron Carter has sadly passed away at 34, I think is what I saw, which is really hard to hear because we did go on tour with him two different times, two different tours. One was the Radio Disney live tour, and then his own headline tour, Aaron Carter. I think that's what it was called, or it was called actually. But yeah, it was really hard to hear that this week, hearing that he passed away. I know he had a hard life in recent years, but I look back fondly. We did have some fun times on the road. I remember specifically because he had one of his big singles was "That's How I Beat Shaq," which is all about basketball, and I may not look like the athletic type, I enjoy sports, I do, but you wouldn't necessarily look at me and go, yeah, he's a basketball player. Well, let me tell you something. We were out one day on the road on one of the shows, and Aaron and his best friend were out playing, and they challenged Chris and me to a 2-on-2 basketball game. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, this is the guy who beat Shaq, and
because that's how the song goes.
You've never heard the song?
No.
Oh, because that's how I beat Shaq. Yeah, he beats Shaq in basketball.
Oh,
that's the whole thing. Yeah.
I don't know if I know that song.
Well, that was a big one back then.
Okay.
Anyway, so we play and it was a lot of fun, but he was getting a little, aggressive. There were some fouls, some elbows thrown. I remember that. At the end of the game, Chris and I definitely remember us pulling out a victory there, and it felt really good because, again, as a guy who doesn't normally look like a guy who plays basketball,
Aaron thought he won.
Well, it was one of those. It's 2-on-2. It's street ball.
Okay.
Out there, you don't have refs out there, so you're calling your own fouls and stuff. But no, we ended up they conceded. They did lose, but we won. We beat them. We beat Aaron Carter, AC.
Amazing.
So that was fun. And another time, actually, because we did some fun things while we were out on the road. We wasn't just all business. We were going to each place and performing, because sometimes you had days off while we're out somewhere. And I don't remember where we were in particular on this day, but we had a day where we didn't have a show going on, and the whole tour is at the hotel and stuff, and we're all thinking, where should we go? And all the guys on the tour, as far as background dancers and other acts and everything, we all decided, you know what, let's go play paintball. And I can't remember how old I was at the time. Was it 2002? I think 2003, around that time. So I was 15? That's math. Yeah, I was 15, 16. And I had never really played paintball before. And so I was like, sure, let's do this. We'll have fun out there. And we went to this place that I don't think I've ever seen another paintball arena like this in my life. Now, it's not often we go play paintball, but I've never seen anything like this ever. It was the coolest little place I've ever seen. There it was, I don't know if it had a theme, what the name of it was, but it was this area where there were overturned cars and fires and barrels, and it looked like a wasteland, and it was multiple levels, buildings that you could poke your head out and shoot, and it was amazing. The coolest vibe in there. You're two, it's two teams, and you're going in, and I can't remember if it was capture the flag or what, but it was so cool. There was one rule though: you can't shoot somebody if you're on one of the ramps that goes to a different thing. Can't have that advantage there. I don't know why, but that was the rule.
So did you do it?
Oh, I didn't do it.
Oh,
I didn't do that. But it was an intense battle there. It's hard to tell what's going on. Again, first time playing, mask is getting foggy. You're taking people out. It was great. It was awesome. But you have the mask on, and I wore like a hoodie in the back because I didn't want because your back of your head's open. I didn't want to get hit in the neck because I heard that it was painful to get hit with paintball. Well, I'm going one time. I can't remember if it was Aaron or not. I think it was Aaron, but he shot, because I think he got Chris too. He shot, nailed me right in the back, in the neck, right here. If you're on audio, I'm pointing to the back of my neck behind my ear, and he just nailed me, and it hurt so bad because there was nothing there, no helmet, no.
Where'd that hoodie go?
I don't know. It just snuck right in there, and I was like, oh, I felt that. I was like, oh, okay, I'm out, and I was walking back into
that was it?
That was it. You get hit, you're out.
One time?
Yeah, when there's
I
multiple
thought there's
games.
lives.
No, well, yeah.
What
you
a ripoff.
You hit, you're out. It's,
Okay.
So anyway, so I get out. Well, then the referee, because there was a ref there, because it was an intense thing. They had people watching. Said, "Oh no, you're back in." The person who shot you was on a ramp. That was illegal. So I had to come back in. I will say though,
you didn't want to go back in.
It was no, I did, and but I was a little disoriented because I was like, man, it was right in the back of the neck, completely exposed. But yeah, I can't remember if that one was Aaron or not. But he was on the opposite team, And yeah, I don't remember who won overall, but that was a lot of fun. I just remember that time getting to hang out with all the guys on the tour. It was so much fun. So hanging out with Aaron, we got to do it. It wasn't all the time, but it was cool to get to interact with him and his crew and yeah, just everybody on those tours were a lot of fun. Again, you're a young kid, the year before that, 14, 15 years old, on these tours, and yeah, I look back fondly on those times. I remember, Aaron was dating a couple of, he was dating
3 or 4 girls.
Well, it was the time where he was dating Lindsay Lohan and Hillary Duff at different times or so, and I remember seeing them come to the shows. I don't know if they were at the same time, but they both came to some of the shows on the tour, and so but it was cool to kind of be a fly on the wall on some of that stuff. So
wasn't it that tour that the black glove was born?
Yeah, on the Radio Disney Live tour. So the first tour with him, Aaron Carter was on that tour. Yes, yes.
The glove.
The glove.
You guys know the fingerless glove.
I wore that all the time after that.
It was
I got that.
right?
It was fingerless,
okay.
And that became the thing I did.
Yeah, it's currently sitting in his keepsake box, and it's crusty and hard.
Well, that makes it sound gross.
Crunchy. Well, it's years of sweat.
I know,
dried
but
on there.
Saying it's crusty makes it sound gross. That thing,
you could break it like a chip.
It was, looking back, I had some unique things. The puka shell necklaces, the glove that I wore, and that stuff. Looking back now is like, some interesting choices I made as a child.
I used to think that it was because of all the flips and stuff that it helped it was a little safety
the grips
thing,
total style
gripper.
Total style choice there, so you can tell didn't have the best judgment back there.
It looked cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. So anyway, but thank you so much for the question. Good memories.
All right, this is going to be the final question.
Already.
Oh, Time flies when you're having fun, my friend.
I'm sorry I've been talking so much, but yes.
Keep it up because we want to know. Okay. Nick Lynn wants to know, which album was your favorite album to record?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, we had about 5 studio albums overall that we recorded, and we had a bunch of other ones. Again, Christmas albums. We were in the studio for those, and we had a couple that we weren't really part in the studio. Well, that's not true, because the Best Of album, we did have some new songs on that as well. But overall, studio albums, I really liked recording all of them. I would probably say the second album was a lot of fun, All the Time in the World. And I feel like you can really tell, because that's
the purple one?
That's the purple one. A lot of people like that one.
Listen to.
Yes. A lot of people like that one. And it is funny, I did not realize how many songs are on that album. There's only 8 real songs and 3 remixes on there, which to me is not enough. There should have been more songs in there. But recording that was a lot of fun, because we had just come out with the first album. And I know in the recording studio for that album, we did have a couple of different things. We had 2 different producers, and we had made some changes before we ended up with Mark Hammond. And we really enjoyed that process, especially being the first time. But this was the album where it was like, okay, we know what we're doing. We're jumping in from the get-go with Mark. We have these songs that we have picked out that we talked about earlier, and it felt really fun to be settled into what Jump5 is. We had a whole first, the first year of doing shows, and that's when God Bless the USA, and that really took off with that, and that experience, which if you haven't, again, seen the documentary, the 20th anniversary of that, go check that out, because a lot of these stories are in there. But when we got the chance to record God Bless USA, that was a huge thing for our group and how we were able to get our name out there. And that led into 2002, All the Time in the World, with tons of opportunities with the tours, with our Aaron Carter tour and so on. But that album that we recorded, we did side by side with All the Joy in the World. So we had 2 albums we were recording back to back, because they were coming out so close together. I think it was August for All the Time in the World, and then just a month or two later for the Christmas album. So it was a lot of fun. Like I said, we knew what we were doing second time around and had some good songs. We had Summer Song, which is one of my favorites that we've done. Of course, All the Time in the World. I'm sorry, All I Can Do was a great one. We had Forever in My Heart, Angel in My Heart, a lot of good stuff. And of course, I'm missing some of the best ones on there. Put Me in the Picture, Joyride. Those were some that are like a lot of our group really enjoyed. So I think that was probably one of my favorites, but that's not to discount any of the other ones. We had some good times with the other albums too. But yeah, I think All the Time in the World was a good one overall. So hopefully that answers that. That was a short one. All right, give me one more. One more quick one to wrap it up, and then we will do more of these going forward. So
yes, if you did not get your question answered, come back for more.
Yes, we did.
Because we're going to keep answering the questions that came in last week.
Yes, we have a list of them, so it's not like we didn't get it. They're not answering this question. Maybe they don't want to talk about it. No, we'll get to some of those questions. I know some people have been asking some particular ones. We'll get to it. We have more of these videos.
Keep sending them in. Even if we don't put up that question box in our stories, you can still send them in because we're going to do several more of these. Probably.
Absolutely.
So, all right. This is the final question.
Final one.
The last one was the final question. This is the last final question. Okay? That's how that works.
Hit me with it.
Okay. All right.
She hit me for the audio listeners.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yes. Okay. Yep. You guys should watch. Marilyn Funk wants to know, is there a Jump5 text group?
Yes.
Group chat.
There is a group chat. We have the 5 of us because we're in, technology nowadays. We do have a group chat with the 5 of us and it's fun. We'll jump in there and, share stories sometimes or happy birthday messages.
You guys text a lot in there.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's not all the time, but we do. We all live nearby too, so it's something that we
run into.
Leslie
at the ball field all the time.
A lot, yeah. But we live close. I mean, we just drove by her house today.
Yeah.
So so we see her, more often than everybody else. Well, Brittany, of course.
Yeah. We saw Libby very recently.
Yes,
too.
We did. Yeah. We did. That's right.
We did.
So, anyway, but yes, to answer your question, this is a very short one, but there is a group chat, Jump5, and we still hang out and stuff. Again, the iPhone didn't come out until our final year of Jump5. So iMessage and all that stuff didn't exist back then. Facebook, we got our first Facebook profiles. We first got Facebook back, I think, in the second to last year of Jump5. So again, social media, that stuff, that technology wasn't really out there. So it is nice to get to catch up and have messages back and forth. Oh, you're so funny. Look at those dad jokes you're throwing in there. Anyway, thank you all so much for all of the questions that you put out there. We really appreciate them. We enjoy getting to answer these questions and to talk about this. Again, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't enjoy it as well. So continue to come back. We'll continue to talk about this as well. And we didn't talk about this at the top, but we do have this video. If you're not watching this, we're on YouTube at Hargests on Deck as our YouTube page. And we have way more than just podcasts. We've been doing this channel for a while now. But yeah, this is, I think, I don't want to say, but maybe our 12th or 13th episode or so. So check out previous episodes there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it definitely helps us out. But we're also on all audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, all of those things. So check it out there and leave a 5-star rating if you want to, and a review. We'd love to see those comments because we do check all that out. So
yes,
thank you for watching. We hope you look forward to more Jump5 content in the future. Send those questions in and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.